At dawn on the morning of June 6th, scores of warships were in position 6 miles off the Normandy coast. At 5:27, the bombardment began. For the X-craft crews, waiting just offshore with their navigation lights and beacons switched on, this was their first glimpse of the true scale of D-Day.
The big battleship started firing over the top of us, and that was a spectacular sound and noise. I mean, they did literally whistle. And they were landing on the beach, you know, which was 300 yards away from us.
One of the first ships to open fire is now in more peaceful surroundings. This is the Royal Navy's light cruiser, HMS Belfast. Included in Belfast's armament were 12 6-inch guns used to target gun batteries above Gold and Juno beaches. The blast of these guns was a reassuring sound for the nervous troops now heading for the shore. To the west, the most heavily defended of the 5 beaches, Omaha, was being bombarded by a veteran of the First World War, the battleship USS Texas.
Texas is one of the last remaining ships in the world that served in both World War I and World War II. There's a handful, but she's really the biggest, baddest one.
The Texas is armed with 10 14-inch guns, capable of sending 1,500-pound shells up to 12 miles.
The process of firing this gun involved getting one of the rounds per gun and 4 powder bags up and loaded. The powder bags are 105 pounds apiece. They were manhandled by sailors. So get the round up through this elevator right here, and then it rolls into a little tray, and then they have a powder ram that pushes that round all the way into the breech. Next comes the 4 powder bags, and they're pushed in. They actually use the old ramming sticks that you'll see from 18th century cannons. Once that was done, they would close the breech and be ready to fire.
Unlike artillery on land, warships had to contend with the rolling ocean. Accuracy was difficult, but Texas had the technology to deal with that problem.
No matter what you figure out to fire, you had to basically wait until the ship was level. So when they would pull the triggers to fire, there was one little switch that waited until the ship got level, and that would close the circuit and fire the guns. That way you weren't firing into the water or too high.
In 1944, the ship's bombardment of the coast lay the ground for the invasion of Omaha Beach.
As dawn began to break, we received the signal and headed into shore. I remember the battleship Texas firing broadside after broadside inland when we were close by. It was god-awful. Terrible explosions, muzzle blast in our ears when they fired. The smoke ring passed us by, and it was like the funnel of a tornado, growing larger and larger and finally dissipating. We actually felt the muzzle blast.